Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the West Ham Daily. Sorry, it's a bit dark. I've had to move everything around, and obviously you can see the natural light shining behind me. So until I get all my lighting sorted, I do apologise. I look like I'm in some sort of cave or something. Anyway, forget about me. What about the show? Well, you've already heard. It's not breaking news, really, is it? We're about to make our first summer signing, our first summer senior signing. Of course, we've signed quite a number of youngsters for the academy, Oko Flex, Ekwa, Thierry Nevers, etc., who apparently has picked up an injury. But anyway, that's for another story, another video. We're talking about Alphonse Areola. Quite interesting, really, because at the end of the season, David Moyes said, "I'm interested in only three areas: central defender, attacking midfielder, and I need a striker." And there's been speculation for quite some time as to whether we're going to strengthen our goalie area, and then we heard that David Moyes had extended the contract, or West Ham extended the contract of Fabianski by a year, and then David Martin had his contract extended by a year, and then we thought, okay, well maybe David Moyes is going to stick with what he's got in terms of the goalie situation. And then if you any of you watched my show on Monday night, the West Ham Weekly, you would have heard about the goalie merry-go-round that's been going on. You know, we've got Nathan Trott and Joseph Anang in the under-23s. They've both gone out on loan to get more game time, more experience. And then we're sort of saying, and then we bought Brian Kinnear in from, who was at Rangers, who was really recently released, who's going to go into the under-23s. But it looked like, well, okay, but we kept hearing there are an awful lot of stories about goalies being rumoured to be linked to us. Robin Olsen from Roma. What's his name? Sam Johnston from West Bromwich Albion, and of course Alphonse Areola. And I think we first talked about Alphonse Areola something like about a month ago, give or take. And we all know that, you know, he spent last season on loan at Fulham. He's a PSG goalie, and he did absolutely brilliantly at Fulham. So let's have a look a little bit about his background, shall we? Let's just do a small video about him. Right. Quite a lot of impressive stats there, aren't there? There's an awful lot to take in. So let's go through them one by one. Areola, born February 27th of February 1993 in Paris, France, 28 years of age. He's from Filipino descent, but born and raised in France. His early youth career, at a very early stage, was with Petit Angers, and then Paris Saint-Germain brought him in the youth system in 2006. And then he spent a bit of time at Clairefontaine, where Clairefontaine is like a youth club which is developed quite a lot of massive stars in France. Don't ask me who, I can't remember. I'll come up with those another day. His early career, the PSG B team, he made 57 appearances for them. And then he went out on his first loan spell, 2013-14. He went to Lens, made 36 appearances for them, keeping 12 clean sheets. Not bad, really, for a young goalie. Then he moved on loan again to Bastia. He's done an awful lot of loans, this goalkeeper, to again build up some game time. He made 19 appearances for Bastia, conceded 8 goals with 8 clean sheets. And then he went to first loan spell outside of France. He went to Villarreal. On loan in 2015-16, 37 appearances, 17 clean sheets there. And then he came back to France, and he actually made his proper, what I would say, his proper stance at PSG. He between 2016 and 2019, he made 107 appearances for the club, conceding 87 goals, but 53 clean sheets. That's nearly half the games he played. He played in was clean sheets. Of course, it's not just the goalie that keeps clean sheets. I know that your defense plays a role in that, your defensive midfield, etc. as well. But there must be a lot said for a goalkeeper that can help a club, can help his team get, like in half the appearances, to keep clean sheets. That's pretty impressive. But unfortunately for him, with PSG with an abundance of money, PSG keep buying goalkeepers, and despite that impressive those impressive stats, he went out on loan again. But look who he went out on loan to this time. Real Madrid in 2019-20 season. He only made 9 appearances for them, but again, a third of those appearances clean sheets again. And as we all know, last season he was on loan at Fulham, who got relegated. But again, look how many clean sheets for a club that was struggling. 37 appearances, 10 clean sheets. So you can see there's a pattern there. He's a very, very good goalkeeper, a very athletic goalkeeper, a very commanding goalkeeper. He's very vocal, and because of that, he's also become a French international. All right, only 3 appearances so far, but at 28 years of age, one wonders, that maybe, I mean, they've got an abundance of keepers in that squad as well. He's played for the France under 16s, the under 21s. He's made 61 appearances in total for them. He made his senior debut in 2018. And look at the honours. Pretty impressive. All right, I'm stretching it a bit when I say World Cup winner, but he was in the squad. And if you're in the squad and your team wins the World Cup, you're a World Cup winner. He was an under 20s World Cup winner in 2013, French League One champions 12, 13, 17, 18, 18, 19, French Cup winners 16, 17, 17, 18, French League Cup winners 16, 17, 17, 18, Spanish La Liga champions when it was with Real Madrid. And forgive me because my video suggested it's when it was with Villarreal, which is incorrect. But Spanish League champions in 2019-20, and Super Cup winners in 1920 as well. Impressive. But we were impressed last season, weren't we, when we actually saw him playing for Fulham? And how many of you went, he's not bad. He looks pretty good. He looks really handy. Wouldn't he be the sort of player you'd like at West Ham? Well, he's coming. The medicals being held today. The announcement that he will become a West Ham player will either happen tonight or tomorrow. And for all I know, it may have happened already. We don't know the value of the loan fee. We know it's a loan to buy. There's been an agreement. Apparently, he made an agreement on his personal contract a couple of weeks ago. We all know he's stayed in London. He's been spotted in London since the end of last season. He hasn't left. He's remained in London. He's happy. He wants to stay in London. And apparently, his personal terms were agreed a couple of weeks ago, and now it looks like both clubs, PSG and West Ham United, have finally thrashed out an agreement to bring the player over. It'll be a loan signing. Like I said, I don't know the value of the loan itself. It'll be a loan signing. It'll be for 1 year, and then we'll have the option to buy him at the end of the season. Now, look, let's be honest. We know Fabianski's been a fantastic servant for us, but we also know that he needs competition for that first team berth. With the greatest of respect to Darren Randolph, he's a good backup, but he's not a first team choice. That's the bit. That's the big difference. And with the fact that we're playing in the Europa League, with the fact that we're gonna try and do well in the Premier League again this season. We've got all the domestic cups, etc. I just wonder if not all three goalkeepers are going to take turn. I mean, I'm guessing that the number one slot is going to be shared between Fabianski and Areola. One viewer some weeks ago suggested that maybe we're going to have a goalie for the Europa League games and maybe the cup competitions, and a goalie for the Premier League. That's possible. Who knows? But as we've seen it in the past with West Ham United, when Jaskalainen was coming to the end of his term, Adrian was brought in and there was a crossover. Adrian started playing a few games, picking up more games and more games and more games. And then at the end of that season, when Jaskalainen left, Adrian took over. And we kind of need that crossover. We need that with Fabianski. He 36 years of age. He's been a great servant, but we need to be looking ahead. And absolute credit to West Ham, to David Moyes, for thinking ahead like that. We were all told that goalie wasn't going to be a priority, and yet here we are on the cusp of our first senior signing. Everyone's going, it's going to be Lingard, it's going to be Pereira, it's going to be a central defender, it's going to be a striker, it's going to be whatever. Well, David Moyes has surprised us again. It's going to be a goalkeeper. And I'm excited. It'll be interesting to see how David Moyes utilizes the players. People will ask, what about Darren Randolph? There's a possibility that Darren Randolph will stay. Maybe that's why David Martin has been given an extended contract. Randolph has got a couple of years left. Randolph might stay, or he might be sold. He's got a couple of years left for a couple of £1 million to another club. Maybe there might be a swap deal with a player from, say, the Championship or something like that. But when we know what's happening there, we'll let you know as well. Let's finish off because I really am very busy today, so I apologise. It's going to be a quick one. We're going to do another show tonight. If Anton is watching, he's committed to it. We'll do another show tonight. We didn't do a daily yesterday, and that's forgive me for that. I just didn't have the time to do it. So in order to sort of make up for that, and in order to make up for the fact that this is going to be a quick show, we'll do another show for you tonight. So who's in? Disabled team. Good afternoon to you as well. Aidan, 40 minutes, can't wait that long. I hope you did, mate, and I hope you're well. James, a keeper just beneath the peak of his abilities. Absolutely. 28 years of age. I mean, this guy is going to have what? 5, 6, 7 years left, peak of his abilities, up to 34, 35 years of age. And let's say he does 2 or 3 seasons with us. He might still be sold at a profit, even when he turns maybe 30, 31. Quite possibly. Toby, good afternoon. If this is true, shut up the moaners for a day or two. Yeah. And by the way, we've been told that there's another transfer in the pipelines. We can't tell you whether it's going to be a defender, midfielder, or a striker, but there's another deal in the pipelines that's being currently worked on. And it'd be unfair for us to sort of give you any speculation. So when that materializes, we'll let you know more about that. So absolutely, Toby. This is a statement of intent. What a great goalkeeper. He great prospect. I mean, look at the clubs he's played for: Real Madrid, PSG, etc., etc. You don't get to play for clubs like that if you're not half decent, do you? Gary Russell, hello mate. Good signing that will be. Absolutely. Disabled team again. It'll be a really good signing for West Ham, and the fans will love him. Absolutely. And let's not also forget, David Moyes picks players that will fit his system. I know he's a goalie. What do you mean? What system? But it's also about the attitude attitude and the approach, and due diligence Dave, as people like to call him, dithering Dave, as I've called him in the past. He's not only going to look at the ability of the player, and obviously there are other things like salary. We've heard that Areola's on a salary of about 140 grand a week, something like that. Clearly, some deals been done there in order to assist us with that. But he's also got to fit into the ethos, into the mantra that David Moyes is creating at West Ham. He keeps talking about, doesn't he, David Moyes? I've got a great bunch of lads here. The last thing he wants to do is to bring a player in, whether that be a keeper, a midfielder, whatever it may be, that might break that mold. So clearly, he's not only seen what he likes, on the pitch, but maybe in Areola's attitude, approach, etc. And Moyes must be thinking, yeah, this young lad is going to fit in well. Let's scroll down. I'm not going to cover every question, every comment. Do forgive me because I really am really busy. Does he start in front of Fab? I think I've answered that. I don't know, to be honest with you. I think they're going to take it in turns. Without a shadow of a doubt, it seems obvious. John, hello, mate. How are you? Good evening to you in Phuket there, mate. There is a positive about Moyes taking his time on signing players. It proves that he cares about the club and fans. Totally agree. Good afternoon, Moonbear. We should only start to worry about not signing enough players when it's near the end of August, and we've only signed 2 people, if not 1. Well, you know what? I keep saying, before goalie, I kept saying that we'll be lucky to get 3 players, and I stick to that. Well, no, now I'd say 4 because I never thought that Moyes would sign a keeper. So I think we'll get 4 players in total. I still think Moyes will go out and get a central defender. That's essential given the injury to Ogbonna the other day. So I still think he'll get a central defender. I still think he'll get a striker, and quite possibly he'll get an attacking midfielder. Let's scroll down. Patrick Walsh. Moyes has put the clamps on rumours from the club. Got to trust he has a plan or would not have signed. Absolutely, mate. And that's what I've been saying as well. All this stuff, and I said it in the other night when I went on a rant on the West Ham Weekly, all this stuff about everyone telling you, oh, that player's going to sign and this player's going to sign and we're definitely in for that, we're definitely in for this player, etc. No one knows. And that is the honest truth. No one knows because Moyes has put the clamps totally down on the rumours, and that's you're absolutely right. Gary 3000 will be at Newcastle. See you there, mate. Ryan Luther, very intrigued to learn who the second player we have been working on this week is. That West Brom ITK saying the Saudi club is the favourite at the moment. Yeah, I don't believe Pereira is going to go to a Saudi club. Do you? Despite the fact that he'll be offered massive money. Let's not forget, Pereira is only on about 15, 20k a week already anyway. He's not on a lot of money. So what's a massive amount of money? If we turn around to him and say, come and play for us for 45 grand a week, is he really going to go out and play in the Saudi Arabia? Well, maybe for 100 grand a week, maybe. But if he likes his football, he's got to come and win trophies at West Ham, hasn't he? Thumbs up or not thumbs up? Okay, well, you're going to have to wait. Robbie Wilson, a really good keeper at the right age. We did need a keeper, goalkeeper. There was pressure. There was no pressure on Fabianski. I think he'll be our number 1 with Fab Cup keeper. Good shout. Robert Singleton, looks like Holland game on. Yeah, I did say Holland. I didn't think he was going to make it. Holland is in his last year of his contract at West Ham, and I kind of think that might be it for him, I'm afraid. But we'll do another. We'll talk about that another time. Hello, mate. How are you?
Oh God, I'm on. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, good. Happy with the news. He's obviously in completing his medical. I think the terms have been agreed from what we understand.
Yeah.
But there's no notification. And what I love about it, and I know you've just made the comment still, saying that the leaks have dramatically changed at the club, and they have, and that's good. I think that's a good thing. I like it. I really do like it.
Yeah, I do.
We're led to believe, though, I mean, if you put 2 and 2 together, there's no doubts about it. The club will probably be looking at a similar deal that what Fulham got, so they'll probably want 50% of the wages paid by minimum. PSG have got the money to do it, and it's a kind of win-win situation, to be honest, in my opinion.
I agree. Areola. I agree. I think the only thing concerned though, mate, is if he really is. I mean, people we checked and triple checked his salary, and he is on 140 odd grand a week.
Yeah, 147. Yeah.
And I think the only cause of concern is that when we go to if he smashes it this season, and we turn around and say we absolutely want him and sign him on a permanent, and I dare say we will want to do that, that might become the problem then at the end of the season
It
to
might,
say,
yeah.
because PSG will probably go, yeah, we'll subsidize some of his salary, half of it, whatever it may be, but they ain't going to do that.
But the win-win for me, though, still is if this is bringing in a top quality goalkeeper that enhances our squad, it enhances our squad, everything that every West Ham fan wants. If it enhances our squad, and if it helps towards West Ham progressing, and let's just say we were an Areola away from potentially qualifying for the Champions League, then in order to compete at that level, West Ham are going to have to change things within their structure, their wage structure. It's not ideal. It'd be great if we didn't have to. But in order to maybe bring in that little bit extra quality here, there, and everywhere, things will have to change financially. And if West Ham can manage that, this is why I think it's a win-win situation still, because if he does have a great season and West Ham make Areola, I think Areola's definitely got a connection to London. There's no ifs or buts about it. He's been in London a lot since his Fulham loan expired. He's been in London a lot. He's posting it a lot on Instagram. He goes to all his local places. So it's now down to West Ham to make him love West Ham and love this scenario. And still, players at that age, they don't always have to progress in their salary. He might realize he's not going to go and get 147 grand a week anywhere else.
This is the thing. When a player goes to a big club, and signs for 150 grand a week, 200 grand a week, etc., where do they go next? That's the thing, because there are, and given the financial meltdown in football, where the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid's and all these clubs are going out getting freebies.
Yeah,
that means they're now starting to impinge on our transfer market. Because you wouldn't expect them, and now that all these clubs are trying to offload all their players. The players. I mean, look at Junior Firpo. I don't know if he's signed for anyone yet.
He did. He signed for Leeds.
Did he actually sign for Leeds?
Yeah,
and he was on 120 odd grand a week or whatever it might be. So it's kind of interesting that clubs are. These greedy clubs are now paying the price. They're trying to offload all their expensive players. So absolutely, I think they will subsidise his salary. But I don't care what he earns, so long as it's within the club structure.
And absolutely. And if he comes in and is fantastic, if he gives us close to what he gave to Fulham last year. This is a top quality goalkeeper who's obviously been recognised as a top quality goalkeeper, with the fact that he's been signed in the books with PSG, with the fact that he's been chosen for the French squad, albeit, yes, I know he isn't in line to start with PSG, but you're talking about a side that have got money and have just signed Donnarumma or whatever you want to call him from Italy. They've got so many other goalkeepers. So he's challenging the best. He is challenging the best in the world, and that's good. And bringing him in, people will moan going, well, we've not spent budget, but there's an example of adding quality.
Yeah.
Without having to worry about certain things.
The loan signing is probably going to cost us in the region of £4 or £5 million.
But good. Yeah, it's a good one. And do you know what? Still, it's a signing that maybe on paper, me and you said right at the start of at the end of last season, we spoke about the squad and we said that only if a keeper becomes available, I would treat a keeper as a priority. And it looks like there was two options: Sam Johnston, Alfonso Areola, two good keepers that I would have turned round and gone, I'd been delighted with either or. Absolutely.
And a lot of people are happier with Areola.
But, yeah, absolutely. I am as well.
Mate, I'm going to ask you a serious question, and I'm not going to try and bash the doom mongers, but isn't this a sign of intent? I mean, seriously.
Okay, I'm not going to. I don't want to get. I said to you, I'm going to stick by my kind of original thing. I said that we need to at least have a signing in. We need to still, by being in Europa League, we need to bring players in. You would have thought we would have wanted to have done business. You would have thought we would want to have done business early. You thought we would
Tommy,
have.
We're happy to make you an admin, mate. Message us and we'll do it. Yeah, go on. Sorry, mate. Go on.
You thought we would have wanted to bring in signings because Moyes has got history of bringing in players early doors. So you would have thought we would have wanted to do that, not with 2.5 weeks to go. However, Does signing Areola appease me for a couple of more days? Absolutely. Is it a signing statement of intent? I think a statement of intent still would be bringing in someone like Pereira or Lingard on top of Areola, and then things could calm down a little. If you look at our squad and the games we've been playing, and then yesterday we saw the likes of Yarmolenko, Sufal, Souček come back. There's stories breaking every single day about Declan Rice. People don't even realise the guy's still on holiday. He's due to come back this week. People are saying that they know what he's having for his dinner. They know what time he's waking up, what his alarm clock is, who's texting him, who's not. I mean, these people are absolutely gone through the roof, but I don't think he will go still. I think he'll stay. He'll lead the club into this new season. And I think players like Areola will only but help that situation. Absolutely. But a statement of intent will be another player, I think. Then I will be a little bit. I get your vibe, but then I'll follow that route.
Yeah, I think, but people have said it in the chat. The fact that we're actually thinking a year ahead. Whereas in the past we would have gone, right, Fabianski, you're gone. Oh, right, we need a keeper. Oh shit, we better get whoever's around. Now it's like, Moyes. I think you and I have been saying it for quite some weeks. I've read all the stories about Moyes has been duped into signing a 3-year deal. There's no money, et cetera, et cetera. He's been promised a lie yet again, the board, et cetera, et cetera. David Moyes is not an idiot. David Moyes is the reason why there was a delay in David Moyes signing a contract is because he needed some guarantees from the club. Are we going to have money to spend, or am I going to be allowed to create a scouting network? He's got a head of recruitment and he's got his son in as a scout. So the scouting network is already there. Do we really think that the club, I mean, as much as everyone hates them, do we really think the board would have turned around to David Moyes and said, of course there's money, sign here? Oh, sorry, David, no money at all. Yeah, he would have walked out the following day, wouldn't he?
Yeah. I do agree with you, and I don't for a second believe we'll go into by the end of the transfer window we've just signed Areola. I do think we'll definitely sign players. We have to still. We don't have a strong enough squad. We're a couple of injuries still away from not bad things happening, and I do have faith in our young players, but we still need that experience. And if we brought in, say, the likes of Pereira or even Lingard, I think the biggest thing I'm saying here is trust in Moyes. I absolutely have. I haven't had faith in a manager than I do in Moyes for so long at West Ham.
Here's a question for you. I know this is meant to be about Areola, but here's a quick question for you. If we signed Pereira and then we just signed a central defender, so only 3 players and not a striker, with Bowen being able, and also Yarmolenko if he stays, we don't know yet if he's staying, would you be happy to have Yarmolenko and Bowen as backup to Antonio, with Pereira being able to play right across that middle? Is that enough, or do we still need a striker?
I can't even believe I'm potentially about to say what I'm about to say, but possibly. And I'm going to say that on the basis of Moyes, obviously. If you look at the way that West Ham are playing with all the creativity that they've got in the middle of that park, and then you look at Man City, okay, yes, they have lots more money. They sign whoever they want when they want, all that sort of stuff. But they've got all that creativity in the midfield of their team as well. They've got they did have the likes of Aguero. They did have the likes of Gabriel Jesus. Who is Manchester City's target man? I mean, unless I'm being... do Man City have the target man?
In a way, is the
but he's not really though. Still, he drops back. He's like like a creative midfielder who gets forward, and Moyes is doing that
similar,
and it goes back to when we brought Jesse Lingard in. Would we have signed a striker who would have made such an impact than what Jesse Lingard did?
That's why I asked the question. And we look at last season when the goals were shared out by quite a number of players, a lot of them midfielders, etc., Souček and so on and so forth. I can see us doing something similar again this season and playing that false number 9 and maybe pushing Bowen up front. That's why I asked, But of the two, I know Lingard did well for us, but of the two, Pereira might be just that little bit more versatile in order to give us that option
The,
up front.
I think the other biggest issue I would have then is if we, let's just say Lingard hadn't left and had signed for West Ham, is that still enough in our forward attacking line to compete at the level we want to compete with at the Premier League, the Europa League, the domestic leagues,
Yeah.
everything that we've got to do? So therefore, I seen someone in the comments saying, "Is it true that we're after Kroll and Sima?" Like, I would sign Pereira, and do you know what? I would, if Sima fits the mold of what David Moyes is looking for. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's not massively experienced. However, bringing him in and bedding him into the team would be a good shout. So I think ideally, I would like, and do you know what? Still, I mean, Celtic got knocked out of the Champions League last night. They're now going into the last qualifying round for the Europa League. And all I've woke up to this morning is friends and social media platforms. And I don't follow Scottish football, but the news is all talking about Edouard, about how they just want to take money for him and get him gone because his head has gone from the club. And then they showed highlights of what he played like last night, and he didn't score. But the highlights I watched, they were kind of ripping into him. John Hartson was ripping into him, but all I saw was quite a decent game from a player who just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. But he does look like his head is gone, and I'm thinking to myself, he's strong. Okay, it's a risk coming from that league, but why not? Why not?
Yep.
There's options there. So, you could literally throw 50 million at Pereira, at Edouard, and a central defender, and probably get all three on top of Areola. Yep. And I think then at that point I'd be a bit like, okay,
that'd be decent. Couple of quick questions. Where does our young keepers have both gone out on loan. So Trott has gone to Nancy in second division in the French league, and Anang has gone to Stevenage. Let's scroll down because, mate, I've really got.
No, that's fine. I can stay on if you need to go if you want as well. It's up to you. But
okay, let's see what we can do with
unless we're doing something later.
We are doing something later. I said that in the show. So you're committed. The signing is starting to happen. Have faith in Moyes. Time is quality. Patience is virtue. Absolutely. Tommy, if West Brom lose Johnson, we could give them Randolph as part of the deal for Pereira. But interesting shout. Yeah. Abu, happy with Areola. Actually saw him play against Fulham. Liked him, watched him for the rest of the season, and thought if Fulham go down, this could be a good signing. Forge from Irons, great bit of business in my opinion. Hopefully the rumours that we've tabled a bid for Pereira are true, bringing him in too. Pereira or Lingard, mate?
If I'm being brutally honest, though, I'm still going to say Lingard because of what he's been at the club. He's done what he's done, and I still think he's absolutely capable of doing it. And I think I know that, but I if we sign Pereira, I'd be delighted, absolutely over the moon. If we sign Lingard, I'd be delighted, and I'm absolutely over the moon. It's a little bit like the goalkeeper situation still. Either or. I'd accept either or. But I think I became so attached to Lingard and the story and giving him his chance, and he's a Moyes type player, and Moyes has brought the best out of him. And still, I mean, people.
Lingard. I actually think he is. I still think Lingard is coming.
I mean, Solskjaer stated that he's going right back out into the market. He's going back in to bring more players in. I know he's agreed a fee with that player from Real Madrid. I don't know if he's actually signed yet.
Varane.
Yeah, Varane. Yeah. And he said he's going to go back into the market to bring more players in. Lingard's playing a lot in pre-season just now, but that's because Manchester United have about 7 or 8 players missing from their squad who haven't returned yet. So I am not. People are saying if he wanted to come, he would have came now. Let's be honest. Still, it's a little bit like Mark Noble. It's a little bit like me and you playing for West Ham. Love the club inside and out. We're playing for the club, and there's an option to go back to West Ham. You probably know in the back of your mind you're not going to be playing when you go back, but you're willing to go back and give it a shot. Can you blame him? There was no obligation to buy. There was no option to buy. So Lingard is only doing what he's told to do. West Ham can't talk to the player. We're not allowed to.
Exactly. Nick, great signing in my opinion. Forward-thinking signing, solves the issue of replacing Fabianski. Very unlike West Ham. And then we have a Man U fan, James. How would you feel with Rice Lingard swap plush deal? No, thank you. Thunder and Joy. I'm glad there is no transfer links. Well done, Moyes. Helen. Good, not good to pay him 140 when we're not doing that. When Soufal's not getting a rise on 30 grand, Soufal will get his rise, and we're not paying him 140 grand a week. Nick, we've got to trust Moyes in his signings. He's got to be one of. He only got one wrong, Hugo, out of all the signings he's got. So long as it's who he wants, couldn't care where he gets them from. I totally agree. It's jumped down. Quarantine. Phil Jones has the chance to resurrect some pride and dignity in his career by joining Hammers. Moyes and staff can get some good play out of him. 60 grand a week wages, not bad.
But you know what? Still, quarantine. You make sense, right? If on paper you said to me and you, do you want Phil Jones? I'd say no to you. Why? Because I just think his career's kind of dwindled away. However, let's put it out there. He's looking for a centre half who's got Premier League experience, and Moyes works magic with players still. Look what he'd done with Craig Dawson. I know he's not recently been your favourite player, but my word, still, not a single West Ham fan would have even backed Craig Dawson to do at least a quarter, let alone half of what he's done at the club. Craig Dawson's came in and became a big part of West Ham's squad. And if we can do that, something similar with Phil Jones and bring the best out of Phil Jones, then fair play. But the other thing is, it's his pictures I see of his face when he defends. They just keep sticking in my mind. I don't know if you've ever seen it still.
I have.
Oh my word, I can't get them out of my head.
Claret and Blues, it's a new channel, it's a new group on Facebook, so do go and join it. Look up Claret and Blues. Never thought a goalie would be our first big signing, but such great business. Looks like we're worrying over nothing. Looking forward to the future. But see, all of a sudden, that everyone's lightening up, aren't they, with regards
But I think it was only going to take a signing, really, wasn't it, for people to at least feel like we're doing something. But Moyes has stated, I'm only going to look at quality over quantity. We don't want to make a mistake as West Ham, like we've done before in the past, when we just bring in players to make up the numbers and we just sign players to appease the fans. We can't just do that. And that's where West Ham fans need to change. Albeit, I agree, come the start of the season, we do need 2 or 3 players, but we're hoping that there's enough there in the scouting system of what David Moyes is doing to find the right players. Okay. And it's not quantity. It's got to be quality over quantity. $1,000,000%.
Thunder and Joy, 2 right. I want Lingard back. 9 goals, 5 assists in 16 games. We can attract better. Let's not get carried away when we're West Ham. But I think he's right. And I did actually point out that Pereira had scored 11 goals and 6 assists, but in the whole season. So admittedly, on average, Lingard's stats are better. But I'd be happy with either. Sorry, people. I'm going to jump down. Let's have a look. Cyber, I saw your message about being scammed. I do warn people, don't get fucking scammed by people saying they got tickets for games. Tommy, it's an absolute necessity to sign a number 9. Antonio would only play half the season, which is true. Would be crazy not to sign one and will cost us if we don't. Only other option would be Odebeko. Odebeko hasn't really been shining in pre-season, does he, mate?
No, but I think he is. I forgot, even when I was talking to you about him still, and people were just constantly reminding me, he's 18. He's 18. Exactly. He's 18. Yeah.
He is. So he will go out on loan.
I think he needs a loan. He definitely needs a loan. Yeah. And we can afford to have Odebeko going out on loan for 2 or 3 seasons, to be honest.
Well, I wouldn't do that many.
No, but I'm just saying. If you think about Connor Coventry, it's not Connor Coventry. Is it Nathan Holland? If you think about the age of some of these players,
Alase's been on loan a couple of times and so on. Yeah, Claret and Blues, not be happy if we didn't sign a striker. Antonio Yamo both injury prone. Bowen is not good enough. I dispute that, mate. To play the
it's
lone
not that he would
role.
play. I don't think he would play the lone striker. I actually think West Ham would set up with that false 9, like we did. If you think back to the Aston Villa game with Jesse Lingard, and if you've got creative players and players that all go forward together and come back together, I think there's an option there, and I think clubs will struggle with that. And but I do agree. I think we should bring in a number 9, but you know, who are we?
Jordan, question: if we sign Pereira, who starts? As Moyes said, he will give Benny a bigger role. Well, they play either side. They Benny likes to play on the left, Pereira likes to play on the right, so you can actually accommodate both. And I actually said the other day, imagine if you put Pereira on the right side, Benny on the left side, Fornals in the middle, and as an alternative to Antonio, Bowen up front.
Still, the other thing is, and even this is one back for Jordan as well, the way I really genuinely believe Moyes wants to create this side is to have genuinely two quality players that can step into each of those roles. So therefore, on paper, we may say what Still said: Piero one way, Benny there, Fornals in the middle, Piera, sorry. But you've got Souček, you've got Rice. However, if Souček can't play, you've got Coventry that steps in, you've got Lanzini that can step in, you've got Noble that can step in, and there's going to be that total fluctuation going around in the squad.
Exactly.
It's going to really be it. So we're playing 50 competitive games all season. It's going to happen.
Mandy, Stelios Anton, does the fact that we still have Yarmolenko and Lanzini endorse the rumours that not many players are going to arrive? Not many players were going to arrive anyway, Mandy. You know, everyone was saying we need 6 or 7, but that's fans saying that. Moyes has only said 3, and now that he's got a goalie as well, that means 4 at most. And
listen, I think you know, I said before the Euros started, you know, sometimes it can take for a Euros competition to reignite a player's career. Yarmolenko could still go. Players still could leave West Ham. I think there's more chance that it's Yarmolenko more than anyone else. But if Yarmolenko stays and we can get some form of fitness out of Yarmolenko still, then he is going to be extremely handy, because we know we can come off the bench, do a really good job, or he can play specific games, Europa League games. He's got experience of playing at that level. And David Moyes will probably potentially be looking for that experience.
Yeah, agreed. Reason Lingard not gone to West Ham is Man United's decision. Absolutely, it's not the players. He's come through the academy, boyhood club, and if he goes to West Ham for sure, did well for you. Yeah, absolutely, and it's what you said, Anton. You know, it's not down to the player. Everyone's slagging the player off. If he wanted to come, he would have done by now. Not up to him, is it? You know,
January is when he can turn around and do that. If he stays at Manchester United, he's got the option in January. If he doesn't sign a new contract or anything with Man United, he's then allowed to, under law, to go and speak to other clubs. But right now, he can't.
Rainbow, I think Pereira 11 goals, 6 assists is really good for a team that wasn't really scoring. Absolutely.
Agree. Absolutely.
Whether Lingard was in a high scoring team or not. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Anthony, I think we need to really go for the Europa League. I wouldn't mind finishing 15th in the league and going far up in Europa. Would be nice to win something, wouldn't it? Would be nice.
Respectable league finish and do ourselves justice in cup competitions.
Sorry, I was reading the comment. Right, mate, I'm going to leave you.
That's fine. No, that's fine. I'll come off as well for doing a show later on.
All right. So please, our apologies. I'm down to the bottom. I know we haven't sort of mentioned an awful lot of comments, but we'll do that tonight. We'll do a proper show tonight. Let's try not do it at midnight, eh? Let's try and do it for a reasonable time.
Well, when the kids go to bed.
Yeah. Well, that's after 7. Thank you all for joining us. Much appreciated. Looks like we're going to have our first senior summer signing in Areola. It's fantastic news. Great, you know, it's going to be a great goalie for us. And we'll see you all later.
Still, we forgot something. Get everyone to do the thumbs up.
Please hit the thumbs up. How many are we on? How many?
We're on 60, and there's 200, nearly 250 people watching live.
There's 50. There's 200 of you that not hit the thumbs up. So as you're walking out the door, hit the thumbs up and get us at least to 100. At least to 100.
We've got 5 there. We just got 5. Literally, we just literally got the 5.
Well, we need another 50. So go on then. Come on, people, hit those thumbs up, and we'll see.
There we go. We're up at 79.
Right. Oh, do we hang on?
Oh, we
right,
hang on.
People,
we're at 100 at least.
Another. Come on, quickly. I've got to go. I've got to do an interview at 2 o'clock. And I've got to prepare for it.
We've got 14 to get to hit the 100. There we go.
Right. Okay. Then I'm going to do one or two more comments. David, I honestly think it's Ben Rama's season. I agree. He deserves a chance. Showed a lot of good work during the Celtic game, in my opinion. Absolutely. Harley the Salami. If you have players who create space for Yarmolenko, that's when he's lethal. He's just one of those players who is world class at things. And we need to, he just needs to stay fit, though. That's the problem, mate. No one's disputed his class. Sean, watch Sparta Prague's match with Rapid Vienna. Hlozek won a lot in the air, looked dangerous whenever he had the ball. Got a bit.
Sorry.
Got a bit of a fortunate smash one against the crossbar. You know, anyway.
100 likes done. 100 likes done. Right. And subscribe to the channel.
Yeah, and all that. All right. Thank you all. Much appreciated, and chat later.